This review is presented by EVDANCE.
So you can feel that they worked a lot with this car to make it sporty. It is, rather agile. I've always completely adored the GLR products. They've always had so much style about them, and they have that customer group that think that they are classy and they're just something that feels a little extra. And I share that view because I think that that's just the way they feel. Jaguar is no more. There's a new era coming for them, but we still have the Land Rovers, we still have the Range Rovers, and we still have the Defender. This one is their latest creation, and this is the absolute hardest Defender that has ever been created. It's called the Octa, and Octa, that is the hardest mineral. It's a form of a diamond, and I think that really motivates what this car is all about. Almost 4,000 tests has been carried out during the last 3 years when they've been developing this one. And I've recently, just this spring, been driving off-road with the Defender, the diesel version, and the plug-in hybrid version. If you live with a plug-in hybrid car or an electric car, well, you need a charger. This is the EVDANCE portable charger. Very sturdy, very easy to use. Just plug it in, 220, 240 volts socket, and off you go. You get 3.68 kilowatts of charging power. Well, they just demolish everything that is off-road. They're just so good. And still, this one is also developed to tackle it even better. And last time I drove this a bit more active was the Defender 90 with the V8 P525. That was 525 horsepower in the supercharged 5-liter V8. Sounded really good, and I liked that, more compact size of the 90. It was just fun, but all of that fun was killed by one thing, and that was that the traction control wasn't calibrated to be turned off. And I don't think that it is in this one either, because the SVR, the previous one that I drove, and also the P530, the Range Rover, when I drove that on a test track, you couldn't turn it off. And every time you got into a corner and you really wanted to floor it, nothing happened. It needed to straight out, and then you needed to wait like a second, and then the power came on again. So it really spoiled a lot of that driving fun. But the thing about these are that they are supposed to be a bit more elegant in the way that they approach the road. But this one is supposed to be more of a lunatic. There is a Defender 90, there is a Defender 110, which this is, and then there is a 130, a bit longer. You can get 7 seats in that one. Now they've done something different with this one. They haven't kept that engine or tweaked that engine. It's the engine from the previous BMW M5, and it delivers a bit of a punch. So the engine in this one, V8 4.4 liter twin turbo, delivers 635 horsepower, 750 newton meters of torque. When you do a dynamic launch, you get 800 newton meters, and I think 645 horsepower for a short period of time. And that makes it go 0 to 100 in 4 seconds flat. Now that is very, very impressive in a car that weighs 2,510 kilos. That's a lot of car. But back to what I like about them. They're just so rigid. They look good, even though I don't want to say that because I think that all SUVs look strange. And I'm not that much for SUVs, but there is something about these big, monstrous, strong SUVs that is really, really hard to just deflect. And reviewing this car, well, you need to divide it into 2 review parts to really conclude what this car is all about. And that most important review part, well, that is setting it off-road, because the aim for this one is to make one of the fastest and most hardcore and reliable and tough off-roaders in the world. And I haven't the ability to do that on this review. When the press launch was, well, they were driving in the dunes, and on such demanding courses possible for an off-roader, but this tackles that. So I don't doubt that for a second. But then we come to the part where I'm gonna review it, and that is strictly on-road with these all-season tires that comes as standard for more road use. And considering it's got this new powerful engine, 4.4 liter, twin turbo, 635 horsepower, all the way up to 800 Newton meters of torque, 0 to 100 in 4 seconds flat, and a top speed of 249 kilometers an hour. Well, then I'm just gonna put it into dynamic and I'm gonna push it. Get the G-meter displayed. I can put it into S, and that gives me a bit more manual control from these paddles. Traction control in the early ones, well, you're not able to turn it completely off. And that was a shame because it killed a lot of the action. Let's see what this one does. So let's do 0 to 100. It's got dynamic launch. A little bit on the overrun there. Of course, this one, well, it flies. It is quick. 2,580 kilos, almost 2,600 kilos. That is a lot to lug around. The best thing about it is sitting this high. You can't get away from this body roll. You will fall from one side to the other, even though the seats really keep you in place. So this 6D suspension that just pushes the fluids hydraulically from side to side and from damper to damper, depending on pitch, roll, and when you brake, it does a fairly good job. But you need to be on some winding roads that are a bit stretched, because as soon as you get to some parts where you need to throw it in rather hard, well, that traction control just bites and kills the power. It brakes, and you can see that the brake lights, they flash. So the brakes, they really bite every time it feels like, well, it's a little out of control here now, take it easy. And I think that is very unfair in a car like this. I just think that if you were able to push everything completely off, it couldn't really cope with it. Things could get out of hand. But that's also the thing. When you build something that is as powerful, as brutal as this is supposed to be, not just off-road when you drive in the mud or in the sand where you can slide about, well, you're gonna use it 90% on the road, and then you want an SUV that can give you a bit of freedom. But this, straightforward, short, rather amusing, not that much sound in this V8 compared to the supercharged one. Well, I mean, it is rather agile and it's fairly pointy. I like this big steering wheel. There's good feel to it, so you can feel that they worked a lot with this car to make it sporty. But as soon as you step a little closer to that line of making it sweat, no, it is not fun. Look at that. I didn't even provoke it, steering it in a little, and it just kills the power. And I've been sitting holding it for so many seconds, this traction control, double clicking it afterwards, and you can't turn it off. So if you want to take it onto a track, because it's got a lap timer and all of this, well, that is just rubbish. So I think that this engine, it's fun off-road. On the road, for acceleration, yeah, that's fun, a little giggle, but it is rather pointless. Go for a diesel, go for a plug-in hybrid, because when you cruise in this one, then it is buttery smooth, and I just love how it feels going slow in it.
You just feel a bit overwhelmed by their imposing stance. And in this color, the Petra Copper,
it just looks very elegant, and it still looks rather down-toned, so it doesn't really look like it's the most outrageous Defender that has ever been created. Now we got the all-season tires for normal road, and that is supposed to make it a bit better on the road because you can get the tires which are more suited for off-roading. Start off a little with the looks. Well, since it came 2019, I just thought that this is a perfect reincarnation or a new development of that classic Defender. And I like this one. Every time I see this one, I get happy because it feels like it is something that you use. It has a purpose. You can take it off-road. You can pull trailers. You can load up a lot in it and it doesn't break sweat. And it's also extremely comfortable on the road. So my choice for these really, if this V8, well, won't really cut it, then I think that the diesel and the plug-in hybrid versions are the ones that you should go for. A bit more civilized, get, a bit more rubber onto your tires, not that big rims, and just enjoy how comfortable this one is. Rather strong in the front here. Some plastics around the headlights. You can see that there are some bigger air intakes here, bigger radiators. Got this scrape plate under here, and I think you can remove this plastic here so you can put on a towing hook if you want to pull someone out or if you want to pull yourself out of a ditch, even though it won't get stuck in the first place. A bit of a gold touch to the Defender letters here. Very bulky and strong bonnet. Some black plastics here. Also some side outlets to make it look a little more sporty. And it is tall, so you sit high in it. 22-inch rims, black polished, very elegant, together with this Petra copper collar. I really, really like how it's a combination of color together with wheels and all these black accents look very, very exquisite. Dimension-wise, it is 28 millimeters higher in this Octa version compared to the regular Defender, and it's also 68 millimeters wider, so you can see that there is a more strong stance when it comes rolling up. To make a bit more room for the bigger wheels that you can put on this one, the front and the rear axle has been moved by 4 and 3 millimeters forward. You've got some anchor points where you can put your hook if you want to pull something at the back as well. The rear exhaust pipes in titanium, they look a bit more subtle, a bit more elegant, packed together. Strong, of course, but I think it looks a bit more cool if you could have some separated exhaust pipes like on the P525. Thought that looked a bit more mean. The fuel tank has got a new shield around it. There's also a reinforced cradle for the transmission and a new oil sump. Unique prop shafts, larger diameter drive shafts and reinforced joints. Together with this engine, it needs to take a bit more torque, so the differential has also been reworked and stiffened up a bit more with new materials. It looks really, really nice from the back. You got a big spare wheel, which is extra on this one as well. And I think that just looks cool, having that wheel on there. And you need that if you go off-road and if you get a puncture. So just change it. That's part of the adventure when it comes to this whole being of this car. Trunk door is also very heavy, easy to open, not lifted like that, just open sideways, but it's very, very heavy. And that is also something that gives you that impression of this is nothing that is that cheap. It doesn't feel cheap in any way. It just feels very, very rigid and well put together. But one of the biggest things that they've been working on this one that makes body roll, a bit less, because every time you sit in a big performance car, an SUV that is high, well, you can feel that body roll and how you swing about a bit in the corners. So what they've done in this one is that it's a network of a lot better connected dampers that are hydraulic. And they call this 6D dynamic system. So the benefits with this hydraulically 6D air suspension is that it sends fluid from one damper to the other, depending on how the corner is and what type of pitch you have. And it does that to all 4 different dampers. So that makes the body roll a lot more under control, and it makes it a bit more dynamic because, you want as much dynamics as you possibly can get in a big car like this.
So it's got so much torque, from 1800 RPM all the way up to 6000 RPM. You have these 750 Newton meters of torque, and in dynamic start mode or dynamic launch, you got 800 Newton meters of torque. That is a lot, but that engine, it doesn't thrill me in some way. It's very linear, it's very strong, and that 48 volt mild hybrid system, well, it gives a little extra punch, which is good. The brakes, 400 millimeters, they are strong, and I like the racy feel. They bite in that honest way that you want. You need to push it hard to make them bite hard. And I like that sort of progressive feel in the brake. When on a pretty winding road like this, it steers in fairly well. I think it copes rather well with the whole chassis. It's just that when it gets a little more twisty, then I can't really cope. What I do love is those ZF gearboxes. This has the ZF gearbox, 8-speed, and it suits this car so well. It's very, very smooth, and it's just quick enough. Maybe not that quick on the downshifts, but on the upshifts, I just think it's fair enough. It's not such a raw bark to it. Very civilized. But the fact of knowing that almost 14,000 tests has been carried out during these 3 years in development of it, well, that says a lot. These all-season tires, they have rather okay grip, actually. I didn't think that they were gonna, provide you with that sort of balance, but they're rather good. When you want to be a bit more active and you want the gearbox to be a bit quicker in its reactions, then you can feel that it is a little more lazy, more on the comfort side. But still, I like that. And for this car, this is the gearbox that should sit in it. It suits it very well. But even so, that it doesn't fall into my taste when it comes to very, very active driving on the road, considering this traction control that can't be completely turned off, because I would like it to, fight a bit more. Everything completely off, let it understeer. I mean, don't kill the power like that. Ugh. But as I said, yeah, knowing that it's so undestructible that it is, taking it off-road, and knowing how comfortable it is just pottering around with, just earns it tons of respect still. And on these twisty, demanding country roads, it is still very reassuring knowing that it is so hardcore, that even though it sweats and it really doesn't deliver that well, you can still go for it, punch it. It's almost like a Porsche in that way, because it is so solid. And of course, it just picks up speed very well. You can feel that this 6D hydraulic suspension system does a fairly good job. But you can't get away from the fact that 2,600 kilos is 2,600 kilos. But it's fun in this way, and it grows on me. It grows on me. I like it somewhat. But that's what's so thrilling anyway, knowing that you have all this power if you would like to take it for a more active ride. And you can have some fun. And that just stands out. The full package of it becomes rather complete. And that just creates a big SUV that you just thirst for if you are in this segment. You step up into this car. Now we have it set in a higher position. So if you want to, we can lower it, the air suspension. Or we just raise it again. And you sit rather high. You should sit high in a car like this. You see well out, even though the camera system's in here when you drive off-road. That's what you need to turn on, because that would help you a lot when you place it on, among rocks and trees and piles and everywhere when you go off-road. Because
it is rather high. It's difficult to see where the ending parts of the front is and where the wheels are. But still, you're a bit cocooned. Now I sit in the lowest position, and it feels rather sporty. Even so, you sit high. So it's a very, very muscular, cool feeling. It just makes you feel a little stronger, a little better in some way. They always have that feeling, these big cars. So in here, I like the environment. I think it just feels very, very premium. It's a bit rubberized in some places. It's plastic. It's still very adventurous when you can see the bolts and the nuts and the screws and all this. Plastics that feels usable in some places, but then it's rubberized. And then you have some leather. Some is recycled. The steering wheel is big, as it should be, so you can really do big turns with it. And it looks really, really nice. I like the type of grip you get in it. And the buttons in the steering wheel is also very, very good. It's a little bit, you know, confusing in the beginning, which is what here. But that is also something that you get along with after a while. You got the paddle shifters behind the steering wheel. They are fairly generous and big, and when you're in a dynamic mode, they illuminate a bit more red here, so you feel a bit more sporty. But buttons and everything feels very good. You got a cooling box here, which is superb. This one gets cold, I can tell you. I just threw my glasses down here, not knowing that it was a cooling box when I picked it up. And it was set to the first step of cool, and when I just took my glasses back up again, they were frosted. So this one is effective and nice. Here you can put your phone, induction charger here, very nice. Always take it out, but it's still, you know, is not in the way, so you get distracted. 2 cup holders here, generous space down here. This little box, and you can also push that away, and you can go down to this part, which is open down here. USB-C, an outlet down there, USB-C here. It says Defender. You got big, good grabbing handles all around, even for you as a driver. There, and also in the back. You have a roof here. You can open it up, and of course you can also push the sunshade back, so it lets in a lot of light because it's rather dark in here. I like to have a bit more lighter colors as always, but still looks very nice with the black interior in this one. I like it. I like the buttons here, the scrolling knobs for the temperature. If you push one of these buttons, you can get the fan speed going, so it indicates there. If you go to that one, you can see what type of drive mode you're in. It's a little sluggish, so you need to wait a little to set it. You got dynamic, you got comfort, you got Octa, which is for off-roading, hardcore off-roading. And then you can set grass, gravel, snow, mud, roots, program selected, sand, rock crawl, and also wading. And the wading and depth of going into water is even better in this one, all the way down to 1 meter. Now that's good. So a very neat command center here, together with this very, very delicate screen. I like that it's a bit curved. It's not the quickest. And in here you got a menu of everything. So you get into the navigation, you get into the accounts, you can change the seats. Whenever you want to change the seat, you can do it. Down here on the buttons, of course, and then it shows the seats, so you can adjust it and see how it's adjusted. It's lumbar or bolsters. Then you got body and soul. That's pretty cool because there's some speakers in the seats, and that is something that is a first in this Defender. Land Rover has worked together with some experts in the music industry to make a bit more of a present feeling when listening to music. Not just having those good Meridian surround speakers, but putting speakers in the seats to give it a bit more you know, a bit more pump, a bit more feeling for the driver and for the passenger. Cameras, 3D cameras, you can look around it. You got 3D, you got off-road, you got for towing. So it's packed with stuff. Echo data, and then you get into dynamic. Then you got a stopwatch if you want to go around a track. And this one, well, yeah, it's got the engine for it, but does it have the rest? And setup here, you can set engine, steering, gear shift, suspension in what way you wish. And when you get into the 4x4 menu, you can see what type of angle you have when you drive off-road, pitch, if you want to lock the rear or front axle, weight sensing, max 1 meter, good. So if you're an off-road nerd, then that is really, really good. And something that is also very good is when the lane assist and the speed warning starts to ring and warn, you just push this one, and then you can have high, custom, or low, then it turns off many of these things. So that one is good. And you got this little cluster here in front of you, which gives you good information with good graphics as well. You can change if you want it to just be navigation in front of you, a big map, or you get the speed, a little sportier look to it. When you have it in dynamic, you get a G meter, you get a rev counter. So yeah, all the things that you need are there, board computer, and your consumption, and all of that. And the consumption, well, nothing that you should really talk about in a car like this. You just know that it's not very efficient. If you drive it really, really calm, well, then you might be able to get down to about a liter, a little over, not even that, 1.3, let's be honest. But when you drive it a bit harder, well, then it just races. So that's just what it is. That's just what it is. But it is a mild hybrid engine, so it gives a little more punch, and it can also let off a little on the engine when it rolls. So that's really good. I just like the seats. It's just one piece in the backrest. They feel rather hard, but when you sit in them for a little longer, they don't wear you out in any way, and they're not that sporty that you feel like, oh, this is nothing I want in a comfortable car like this, because this is a very comfortable car when you drive it for long, or every day you drive it, actually. So even though this is hardcore and become a lot more sporty, it's still just as comfortable as the other ones. So that is really good. And the seats, they just play along really, really good together with the chassis and the behavior of the car. Still keeps you in place, looks really good. So I think they're good. There's two new, more exclusive colors to this Octa model. We got one that is called Petra Copper, and I think this one looks both luxurious, elegant, and at the same time rather hard, together with all these black details. I like it a lot. You can also get one that is called Faro Green. There's also the Carpathian Grey and Charente Grey. And as an option, you can get this matte protective film on it for when you go off-road, and there's branches and stuff that will, you know, like scrape it, so it can withstand a bit more tough environments. And I think it looks really cool in this matte color. Here in Sweden, the price of the Octa starts at 2,212,900 Swedish crowns. The Defender Octa Edition 1 starts at 2,434,900 Swedish crowns. And that is in the range of 230 to 240,000 euros. I like that. When you open the doors, you can use the keyless from the back door when it's locked. So you just push that button and step in when you have your key in your pocket. Back here, generous of space, and all the light, well, that is let in. There's also some small windows here, which are rather cozy. They let in some extra light, and they let in some extra light in that bigger one, the 130, when there's, well, a third row. But the seats in the back, they are a lot softer than the front seats. A little short, but still very, very comfortable. And you got some handles to hold on to when it really starts to wiggle about when you're off-road. And a very generous climate control system down here. 2 USB ports, cup holders here, and of course you can fold the seats for even more luggage space. So, a good place to sit, I think. You can behold these rather cool seats in front of you. Little stiff pocket here, but yet a pocket. A very open, airy environment. I like it a lot. And you can also put your feet up because there is a bit of a incline on the floor here. Like that a lot. So you just don't sit with them flat down. You can rest them like that. That is really good. Like sitting in the backseat of this car. Really nice.
I hate kill. Oh, there we are again. So how to drive this with the right technique is to really be on that thin line of not really provoking it, just being quick. Just straighten out the lines and then you'll get the most out of it when driving dynamic on the road. So of course this is a very appetizing car in its big SUV segment, this big hardcore sporty SUV segment. If you like the G63 AMG, well, then you're gonna like this one. And I think that this has a little more style to it. It's a little better than the G63 when really driving it hard. And off-road, well, they might be on par there. And then if you settle down a little and just tune it into comfort, set the gearbox and just drive and potter around, then it just feels like the most smooth luxury car that you can sit in. And I like this one. I always like the Defender because it feels like it's very purposeful in the way it approaches things. Works so well on the road when just driving it normally, and works just amazingly well when driving it off-road. Driving it calmly, driving off-road, tackling stone, branches, uphills, downhills, all the settings that you can activate to go over routes and everything. It is really aimed for the customers that either just has, you know, plenty good money and wants to have something a little extra. Something with finesse, but still that has that English dignity of a classy car in a raw format. Because I think that this one, it looks good. A little nitpicking about the performance on road. It's not bad at all. It's really good. And for most drivers, this will just feel like heaven on earth when driving such a big car in a more sporty way. But it has its limits. And that is just something that bothers me a little because I think it's a little unnecessary. But the second nature of it is just sublime. Pushing this button, holding that, it goes into Octa mode and get out on some really demanding roads in it, then I think I would you know, be really, really thrilled. So hopefully I can do that sometime in the future, not just driving around on some gravel roads.